Hey, how you doing? Welcome to the Marky Worthington Comedy Podcast. This is episode 22. I recorded with my buddy Joel Pea. I've known Joel for years, part of the metal scene and also the comedy scene as well, and that's why we've got him on the show. For those of you that don't know Joel, he suffers from MS. We talk about it a little bit more in the episode. I've known Joel since before his official diagnosis. And it's we go back, so it's a good chat. We talk about the scene over the years, and also the scene now, and some of the projects and stuff that he's been part of. And it's a good episode. So make sure you listen, like, subscribe, and share the episode, and rate as well. As for dates, we've come along to the Basement open mic comedy night tomorrow. So 21st of July, kicks off at 8 o'clock, and all the comedian spots are already filled, so we've got a massive long lineup of comedians for you. So I hope you head on down and have a good night of comedy, and hope you enjoy this episode. Cheers. Got a special guest here today with Joel Pea. How you doing, man?
Yeah, not bad.
Good to have you on the show, dude. We've had you listening to the show already and spoke briefly about doing some episodes previously. It's finally come around, so I'm super psyched and keen to have you on the show.
Yeah, well, this is my first
Yeah.
podcast altogether, so yeah, let's see if I can ruin it for you.
Yeah. Oh man, first time for everything. I feel like if Bill Macon or Ross Yeoman or any of the other guests haven't done it, I mean it's
fair enough.
It's up to you, the king, to try and wreck it for me.
Oh, now the pressure's on.
Oh man, yeah. So we're talking before we started the episode about the Canberra comedy scene and stuff, to give everyone a background on on yourself and things like how you came onto the show and all that sort of stuff. You're part of the Canberra comedy scene, which is where this podcast is mostly based. How long have you been doing comedy in Canberra for, man?
Well, that's weird. I've never thought of myself in this scene, just someone who dabbled on the outskirts. Yeah, in this scene I should be able to remember names, but I don't. But back in the day it was the Belly that I'd done stuff, and I'd done random emceeing, the band work where I'd do comedy, did trivia, which was a bit of a train wreck at times, but that was a lot of fun and got to work my chops as someone with a mic. So, yeah.
So that's where it came about, the Potbelly. So you emceed there. You also used to do some bar work. Was that here, or at the Basement, or was that at the Potbelly?
Just quickly, I didn't MC the Potbelly.
Yeah.
I only did gigs there. Just in case there are people out there that are like, no, we didn't. What was the question again?
So you mentioned that you used to do some gigs before, and also remember you used to do some bartending as well. Was that here or at the Basement, or was that at the Potbelly?
The Potbelly here at the Basement. Years and years ago, I did a couple of shifts at the Ballroom.
Yep.
If you remember that one. But yeah, doing bar work from 18, being fanatical about music, to the point where I look back on it and go, cringe.
Yeah.
So, Yeah, like all the bands that I've been in have helped me in some way, shape or form.
Yep.
Particularly Cockbelch, who was the last band and probably the last band I would have performed in.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if you can hear it over the podcast, but I'm speaking slower. And it's slow. And I swear I'm not pissed. Yeah, something happened with MS stuff, and yeah, I'm alright.
Yeah, that's good to hear, man. Like, I remember you telling the bit at the when we used to do open mics at Young and Frisky about being cut off because of like a symptom as opposed to being drunk. There we go. First podcast guest with a handler, a drink handler. Hey.
What can I say? But yeah, Young Frisky, I can't remember the dude's name, but he was rad. He was a really good barman. But he cut me off because I wasn't making eye contact.
Yeah.
A lot of people with neurological disorders have that issue, and autism and a few other things. But he cut me off, and I took a graciously. I had booze back home. I COVID. But yeah, so I went back home. I'm waiting for lunch the next day. Just said, I was cut off last night. Yeah, that was me.
I asked why. He told me because I wasn't making eye contact. Okay, would you kick me out because I can't walk? You know, like that's why there's a sign says a barman. They can't walk if they slow. But yeah, that was a good time. I miss Frisky as the venue actually.
Yeah.
It was kind of cool.
Yeah, that was one of the original venues of the new wave. So the comedy scene started basically from when I started, which wasn't that long ago. I think I'm coming up on 3 years now. There's pretty much just there was the Phoenix. There was also Smiths, and they're the only two that were the constants and the front. So there was three rooms. Once a month, you get one of each. And now it went up. It peaked at one point. There was 5 mics in town a month.
Yeah.
And yeah, now we've got a bunch of others like Boardwalk and all that. But yeah, Young and Frisky was kind of in that switch over between like Phoenix and the current ones now, and it was just kind of in the middle there. But it was a good fun room. Like, it had its moments. I emceed there a couple of times. I emceed there on Valentine's Day.
Yeah.
And yeah, that was interesting because it was like,
I think I was there for that one actually.
Awesome. Yeah, no, it was one of those things where you're like, all right, now I'm going to try and work out who's here that's on a date and who's like, who's not going to get a second date, who's not going to who's going to go home alone, all that sort of shit. So yeah, that was mostly what I spent that night emceeing doing. Oh, I remember that, dude, because Miller was there. And he got him to lift you onto stage.
That's right, and I had to go at housing. That night I was thinking to myself, don't think about it, don't speak about it till you're on stage.
Yeah.
Dumb fucking idea, I tell you what. I get up there and he says vitriol. saying, yeah, I'm coming for your housing.
Man, that was so it was a good fun room. It was
Yeah.
run by Benny Egmalese and Taylor
Yeah.
Coftree.
Yeah.
Both still in the scene, although I believe Taylor's moved to Brizzy now, so doing something up there, doing comedy up there. This like
trying
the next
to get away.
trying to get away. That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So but yeah, Benny's been doing some cool stuff. He does like some video stuff and things. I see him online all the time. He's been on the podcast before, so
Yeah, cool.
now we're doing more video episodes. It'd be good to have him back. But man, like I was saying before, there's a few different waves of comedy, and everyone that I spoke to when I wanted to do comedy at the basement was just like, "Oh, you need to think about the early days of comedy at the basement." I was told it was like an early, like kind of a little bit of a comedy scene at the basement that was ran way before my time. Were you around for that?
Well, I've been with the basement since its beginnings, and I'm trying to think comedy. Like, because I was between here and the puppet,
Yeah.
I could have just been distracted with the pod to notice that basement had a comedy
Yeah.
thing. But I honestly thought you were the dude to bring it here.
Yeah, so I bought it here like last year.
Yeah.
So I've been the one constant like solid basement regular occurrence of it. But I mean, the amount of shenanigans that goes on stage, you could nearly think some gigs were a comedy show. I mean, if you see, like, obviously with Cockbelt, some of the shenanigans that you guys get up to when Shane's jumping around all through the audience and stuff, yelling in people's faces, and yeah, that's the other side of how I know you as well. Like, so people that are listening to the episode might think that we're just buddies from comedy, but like through the live music scene, we've known each other since I moved to Canberra about 8 years ago. So, and that was when you were with Tranquil Deception.
Yeah, wow.
Yeah,
That was a while ago.
So yeah,
That was fun band.
That was good times, man. It was one of my first Canberra bands that I actually didn't just watch live, but went home and looked up like YouTube. I think there was like two like full length videos of your set on YouTube, with you doing vocals.
Here.
Yeah, here.
Yeah.
With you doing vocals.
They're
So.
probably still up, actually. I should look at that. Just go, wow, you were really drunk. Look how red your face is.
I've seen that. I've also seen the Wretch Days as well.
Yeah, oh my god, that was the best. Like, you're talking about when I was in the band, it was me, Bob, Knife, and Dunk.
Yeah.
Joseph Orvis. Those three dudes being in a band with them was like I didn't have to do anything except write lyrics and build, and that's amazing. Every other band, where are you? You're wasted, you know, chasing them up, but no, though, unbelievably professional.
Yeah.
And not dicks about it either, you know. If you can't make, you couldn't make it.
Yeah.
Hey dudes, this is my reason, and they'll go, yeah, cool.
Yeah.
You know.
That's what you want in a good solid lineup, you know.
Yeah, of people that you work with, you want it to be, you know, fluid.
Yeah.
You don't want to have to think about, have they done their job?
Yeah.
And also the hard thing about banning red cheese, that's when a lot of my symptoms kicked in. So jumping off stage myself and, being a menace I couldn't do without strapping the knee and all sorts of nonsense.
Was that like the original? Was that like the first time that you like got a symptom when you were like playing on stage, or?
No, like since I was a kid. But like people have said to me, "Oh, you're dealing with it well." I saw it coming. Like my progressive illness, all these symptoms I had when I was about, I think I would have had all of them by 20, between 10 and 20. And just randomly, sporadically freaking out what's going on.
Yeah.
It's pretty insane. But once you get your head around it and take care of yourself.
Yeah.
Like, I still drink. I prefer to drink alone.
Yeah.
I have trouble coming out in public to a gig or whatever, and people just want to talk.
Yeah.
And that sounds bad, but my hearing, my ability to respond on time, it's the reason I'm not doing music anymore. Because it's irritating for me, and I'm sure that listeners aren't just listening to voices, but are trying to have a structured conversation, and I'm running out of breath. And fuck. Let's just get drunk and smile at each other.
Oh, that's fucking awesome, man. Yeah, I've seen some I've seen a lot of. Hey, there we go. Another one for the drink handler. Let's hear it. I'm used to having crowds. No, man. I've seen a lot of gigs over the time that I've lived in Canberra, but I've also seen one mutual comedy gig with you when Doug Stanhope was here. Not that long ago. The last time he was here.
Yeah.
So that was cool, man. One of our mutual comedy interests is in alt comedy.
Yeah.
Saying that Stanhope fits directly. He's probably the leader of that at the moment, I think.
Yeah.
Living leader.
He's brash. He's honest. And he's lived a life. And providing you're not reactionary and losing your shit over a word or whatever, and you hear what he has to say, it's amazing, especially back in the day when he was pissed.
Yeah.
Now he's a bit more aged. He seems to be backing off a bit.
Yeah, it also seems that, like, things that he can talk about as far as, like, what's going on in society and stuff, there's probably less things that stimulate that kind of conversation. I feel like because I've heard his early CDs, people were doing more crazy shit, so there was more for him to talk about. But now everyone else has seen, he probably still wants to do the same stuff, but there's less content for him to stimulate that mindset.
Yeah, like, that's an interesting thought. But yeah, definitely, like, today, like, nowadays, is a lot different than 15 years ago.
Yeah.
Socially, politically, or the ethically that people want to use. But yeah, like, and I think he's kind of fallen into the same trap South Park have,
Yep.
where it's like, what satire anymore? That dude's president. What can we do? That's funny that he's not gonna top, and that's a leader, you know. Yeah, it's an interesting. I would like to hear more of those thoughts
Yeah.
on today's world, but I think he's wrapped up in the Depp court proceedings.
Yeah. It's like previous comedians that have since passed away. I would love to see what Bill Hicks had to say about today.
Oh yeah, yeah, Bill Hicks. He's one of the ones, like, I was a fan of Billy Connolly, Rich Pryor. And then when Bill Hicks came along, it changed something in my head. And it was just like, I like this guy.
Yeah.
You know, he's dark and somehow coming across very puppy-like.
Yeah.
You know, and he just approached everything. And I think he, even if he did live to now, he wouldn't be alive because his heart would have just gone bang. You know.
Yeah.
In light of recent years of politics and social movements he would have been proud of, but definitely the politics
Yeah.
would have made him flip.
I think so. Like the amount of social commentary he had just from the 90s, it'd be just like tenfold now.
Yeah, well, he was doing stuff from Bush Senior, you know, like back in the 90s and stuff, and talking about could we feasibly use the technology that we use to shoot missiles at people, use that to shoot food at hungry people. And yeah, he endeared himself to me. He was dead already when I got into him.
Yeah.
But yeah, he was a genius at it.
Yeah.
You know,
I think so.
don't give a fuck approach. It's beautiful.
I think between him and Kinnison probably kicked off that whole like generation of alt comedy, which Stanhope fits like heads up now, I think. Which probably previously started by like Richard Pryor and Carlin.
Yeah, like you can trace comedy back as far as you want. Like most was like the J.G. Allen of classical music. The dude was fucked up, and to think that comedians haven't always pushed it is insane.
Yeah.
Like, people go, oh, Joel, you're just an antagonist. Yeah, maybe so, but I don't know. At least it's funny.
Yeah. It's like I won't burn the Stanhope bit, but he was like saying it was along the lines of like people say that it's a bad thing to make fun. Well, if you think of being able to make fun, isn't that a good thing?
Yeah. To make it, to create fun. But, yeah, I've been getting into words and sayings and stuff. My favourite one is blood is thicker than water.
Yeah.
Do you know what the full quote is?
I don't know the full quote, no.
It's along the lines of the blood shed on a battlefield is stronger than birth water.
Yeah.
So it's basically saying, yeah, your mates are right, but your family sucks.
Yeah.
I like it.
Fuck yeah. No, that's a good one, man. Like if you trace back all the sayings and stuff, you're like, man, does that even apply now? Like how often do people go into battle? It's good that the previous generation of people had to deal with all that shit. So now we have a few good sayings to show for it.
I think the sayings may have come from descendants of people that were on the battlefield. So they heard stories and all that, as opposed to people on the battlefield writing prose and just getting their jollies that way.
You just think that the person that so now, I guess, what would be the equivalent of the person that would just write fucking sayings and shit? Like, Middle Ages, that would have been like, all right, this guy's like super intelligent and...
It'd be a philosopher.
Yeah, a philosopher. It's like highly sought after. Like, it's like a socialite now. You're just like, dude, you're just a fucking random person that hangs out with networks. Whereas a socialite is considered to be like a fucking great thing to be. And now I'm just like, dude, you're just a fucking person that goes to parties and hangs out with people, right? Doesn't everyone should do that?
Yeah. Well, part of the reason why I got into music, the party, man. Like,
Yeah.
hanging out with friends, having a drink, leads to music. Perfect.
Yeah.
You know.
That's all you want. The so the music stuff, like I followed you through the last few bands, and then in Cockbelch. But when it comes to comedy, did you do any comedy before the recent stint?
Oh yeah, I did couple of gigs at gig at a new bar.
Yep.
Cause my mom back there. I've done random 5 minutes here and there with
Yep.
bands that I mean have broken its skin or its string.
Yep.
Yeah, like, I know, I've always been a cheeky bastard. So, I think that just has carried on through performing. And I really do dig the comedy thing. Because if nothing gets done, you've only got yourself to blame. You can't pin it on a band member. It's just like, this shit didn't get done. Oh, fuck. That's me. I know.
Whenever I go up and do a set that I'm not 100% happy with or whatever, which is pretty much no set I've ever been 100% happy with, I always just go, well, I suppose I've only got myself to blame, and that's perfect. Fits perfectly into what you said.
Yeah. Yeah, like That's a hard thing, because you and pretty much every other comic, you write your stuff, you have it, you structured. I would love to do that. My brain doesn't accommodate that. Just swirls around constantly. So if you say me just go, derp, you know what's happening. But yeah, so going up on stage, you gotta rely on the reflex to be the smart ass. You gotta believe in yourself that you can get this point out in some sort of fashion. That's understandable. So, did that make sense?
That made sense. It's like when I when I MC and I get something, I get to the point where I need to do some crowd work or something. You're good? Cool. I need to do some crowd work. I guess that comes down to emceeing when you've got like situations which you need to address. Someone says something, like a comedian addresses something that you want to do a callback to or whatever. It's that wittiness to be able to work on your feet.
Yeah, just what you were saying then reminded me of a gig. That fucking room in there, back before it was current only years ago, doing a gig. I had old mate on drums, so I was playing guitar.
Yep.
Just not enough riffs passing time kind of deal. And these dudes walked up to the fence, looked me square in the eyes, started foaming at the mouth, and then just dropped. I think we finished the song, at which point I alerted everyone. It's just like, who owns the drug fuck dude who just dropped? No one owned up. Someone called an ambulance. I would have been... Fuck. I think Mikey was working here back then when it happened. Wow. Remembering stuff. But that dude, that foaming and the fall, it was, I don't know, you'd see it on Faulty Towers. It was perfect.
Oh, man. So you mentioned that you did some comedy at Potbelly. Do you know what, how long ago that was? What year did they used to do comedy there?
Oh, fuck. Just trying to remember. Who was that? 2012.
Yeah.
I think, roughly, give or take. Yeah.
Sounds about right. That's pretty much when I first walked in here. So this episode, if you haven't guessed already, we're recording it at the basement. I walked in the front door of the basement when I was 19. And no beard, emo fringe, walked up to the bar and handed my resume then. I've pretty much been here ever since. And that was around that same time. So, yeah, I remember those gigs, Tranquil Deception, all that, with with all the original, like, members. The time I think Trent had just finished managing here, and then they took over with someone else for a little bit. As when Teenan used to run it.
Oh yeah, fuck, I was out of here by then.
Yeah.
But yeah, hard to change kegs. from a wheelchair, just saying.
Yeah, so it's been a crazy ride, man. Like I've been here for like 8 years, working behind the bar, and you've seen it before that as well. So, I mean, between us, there's a lot of fucking history in this place.
Yeah.
And yeah, I know for my Metalheads podcast, I interviewed the guys from Wretch before, and like they were like Bobby and Benji were talking about gigs from here from those days as well. So much fucking history, which is what makes me so happy that I've got an open mic here, so that all the like metal community and the comedy community like merges over into one thing.
Yeah, that'll be good. I've been, like, 'cause I've been promoting, well, not anymore, but I promoted small gigs around town to get, people gigs if they want it and stuff. Yeah, I've tried the comedy metal thing before.
Yeah.
I think it'd work better if you had 3 comedians, 3 metal bands, and then a chili competition as well. It comes in threes,
It's like if I've got 2 bits that I want to do on stage, I'm like, well, I need to think of a third
Yeah.
so that it works together. And sometimes I'll just be like, all right, so one thing, and then I've even said just like, and something else so that it sounds like I thought about this. You all right? Fuck, sorry.
Tell my handlers to you.
Excellent. Yeah, so it all goes in threes.
Yeah.
And I'm just always like, oh, there's one thing, then another thing, and then I'm like, oh, I have to think of something else so that this actually makes sense as a 3-part. And I don't even mind just being like addressing the first thing and then just saying something else and then being like, oh, yeah, and a third thing, because apparently I should have a third thing to make this a full bit, and just leave it like that. I had a segment that I was working on. It was like life advice from a bartender is what the working title was. And I had 2 things, and I just could not think of a third thing. So I ended up having to split it into 2 parts and just making like 2 completely different bits out of that. Which is crazy. It's so, like, when someone goes up on stage, it's probably obvious with me that I think about shit and write it all down and stuff. But with a professional comedian, it seems more natural where someone would just be like, well, did he just think of all that just then? Was he just ranting or whatever? But with me, it's like back to knowing that if I go bad, I'm the one that fucked up, because I know I'm like, damn, I didn't write that thing down, or I didn't think of that extra bit to come up with.
Well, the hard thing about writing bits is you won't know it works or not until you put it to an audience. And in the kind of humour that we dabble in, that could be, a complete game changer. Or it could be something really positive.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I really wish I could write material. But I make do with what I can do. So my life is being on my bed, triggering myself to think of things. I might watch old school Simpsons, old action, like 80s horror. and just try and get juices flowing, ideas happening. And I'll flick over to the news, 'cause I'm a psycho. And yeah. and then the news just does something else to me, and I just talk to myself, and hopefully the good bits stick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, your method goes well on stage, man. You're one of the favourites in
Thank
Canberra. So it's good to have you on the show and good to hear a little bit more about what happens behind the mind of yourself.
I'm not gonna tell you everything.
Like I said, a little
bit.
yeah, that's all. Well, that's all they can handle, I think, the audience. So, but yeah, man, it's been good having you on the show, and I've got you on the stage for the next open mic at the basement, 21st. So that one's going to be on the main stage.
Oh, there.
Yeah. So
beautiful.
Which will be if you listen.
What about this bad boy?
Oh, we'll hook you up. We'll do the usual handover of the mic down off the top or whatever.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yep.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's one of those things, man. We've got that lined up, and also this episode will drop the day before that, so come out tomorrow and check out the comedy open mic.
Yeah, Tuesday, and it's Monday today.
Yeah.
Definitely not Friday.
People know we record them early, but people just listen to them on the day. So come out tomorrow and fucking check out the open mic. And
yeah, we wicked. Who else have we got?
Oh,
we got a full wheel, don't we?
Yeah, so this is the biggest open mic I've ever done.
Oh.
It's the largest lineup. And it's also the fastest it's ever completely booked out. So,
should be a good one.
It should be good, yeah. We got a whole bunch of people. We've even got interstate people from around the area, New South Wales, that want to come in and try their hand.
Give it a crack.
People that have moved to Canberra in the last 12 months that used to do comedy that, haven't found a spot to do it until now.
Yeah, or have been kept inside by fires and pestilence. And that's a great word, pestilence.
So there's two takeaways from the show. It's pestilence and blood is thicker than water.
Yeah,
there we go. That's the name of the episode. Thanks everyone for listening so far, and thanks to Joel Pea for being on the show, man.
Oh, thank you for having me.
Cheers.